Well, thank you so very much, Andrea. And please forgive me tonight. I'm on my iPad because apparently my technology is failing around here and my Wi Fi might be a little bit weak. But I'm just grateful to be with you today. I'm grateful to be at any point in time with Andrea Miller. Andrea Miller believes in what she does and she does it well. And she wants to make sure that we change the nature of what's going on in our country. The political landscape needs to shift and she's doing the work to make it happen. So I just want to say thank you immediately to Andrea. Thank you for the Center for Common Ground and for all that you have done in order to make the possibility of change a reality. Let me just start off by saying I am hopeful. As I sit here in my house in Charlotte, North Carolina, I am hopeful. And my hopefulness doesn't come from blind optimism. It comes from the fact that I've seen the way that things have been moving in our state. Right now, I was pleased to be able to win the North Carolina primary for District 106, challenging a long term Democrat who had proven unreliable, a Democrat who had voted against our governor's vetoes of the most egregious things that the Republican MAGA people in our General Assembly have tried to do to the people of North Carolina. She'd been voting with them for so long that we were beginning to realize that we had little to no power. Running against her was nothing I ever wanted to do, but it was a necessary movement. And what it showed is that with 70% of the electorate supporting this campaign and only 22% supporting her, the incumbent, it suggests that the tide is right for change. We can imagine that change can happen and we can see it on the way. I wasn't the only one who beat an unreliable incumbent either. In at least two other instances in our state, we were able to turn seats that were unreliable, let's say purple seats in the midst of our state, turn them back firmly blue, making sure that we can protect the people of North Carolina and making sure that we have the chance of working towards progressive politics. As I think about what's going on in the state of North Carolina, I see that there is a larger mood for change. Not only is our governor, not only are our political parties, not only are every different sub-organization in our state working for change, they're working together. They're working together and showing us that it's possible to turn not just dangerous seats for that were Democratic, but also other seats to turn them for the first time in many years towards a more progressive ideology. That's opening up the doors to possibility. That's giving us the possibility of change going forward. As I listen to this conversation tonight, I'm inspired to know that this isn't just happening in North Carolina, but it's happening literally around the country and, in most importantly, perhaps, around the South. We're seeing the possibility for change. I was today preaching at a small church in Durham, North Carolina, and one of the things that most impressed me is as I was preaching, behind me on the board was a reminder that everyone must register to vote and a note telling them when we should go out to vote. It is on everyone's mind, and people are excited and actively working to see this change come about. I've been, since my opportunity to have that immediate victory, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things I've been doing. I had the opportunity just about a month ago to meet with representatives working on a single payer bill that we might propose in the state of North Carolina. Working with Kerry Reingans from Michigan, working with Gustavo Riviera from New York, working with Greg Scott of Pennsylvania. What if all of our states were able to bring forward a single payer system? This is a possibility if we're able to make the kind of change that we'd like to see. Just yesterday, I was working with a young man from Tennessee who came to North Carolina to talk about what restorative justice might look like in Charlotte, talking about alternative ways besides the failing criminal justice system to not only take care of people who have done harm, but also people who have been harmed, and thinking about a system that might be more just, more fair, and get rid of some of the racial disparities that we see in mass incarceration today. You see, the change is possible. Change is possible in living wages. Change is possible in healthcare. Change is possible in immigration policy. Change is possible in affordable housing. Change is possible in all of these areas, but only if we work together, only if we effectuate change. And if we do this, we will be able to win. Right now, I just want to make a basic appeal for you to support what the Center for Common Ground is doing, to support the work that Andrea Miller is putting in, because the policies and practices that she is using are working. We are changing the way that states are lining up. We are changing the numbers. And in the end, we're going to change this country so that it's more just, more fair, more equitable for every child of God made in God's image. When that happens, what a happy day that'll be. And we all can look in the mirror and say that we did our part to make this change possible. So right now, I just want to say thank you for many of you out there, I'm sure, donated to our campaign. Thank you, because many of you are donating to the campaigns in your state and around the country. Thank you, because I know many of you are writing letters and many of you are making sure that you make phone calls and text messages to ensure that people not only get out to vote, but know who they can vote for, who will protect their interests. Thank you all for the work that you're doing. And I'm just pleased that I can say, I hope we can make the change real this November. Thank you all so very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you very, very much, Reverend Rodney. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, John, if you would bring up the presentation again, I want to show you what we are next slide looking at in North Carolina. Yes, we'll be doing door-to-door canvassing. All right, I put a little note in the chat and I got some reactions. This is what the North Carolina legislature looks like. There's 120 seats in the House. There are 50 seats in the state Senate. Right now, it's 49 Dems and 71 Republicans. If we were, or when we win 12 seats, the North Carolina legislature becomes 61 Dems, 59 Republicans.
And
Interesting,
Andrea, I'm hoping
yes.
63. I would love to see 63 Democrats in the House right now. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Oh, happy day.
Of course you would. All right, now let's look at the North Carolina Senate. Now, how did I arrive at these numbers? I made a list of all 120 seats in the North Carolina House. I then divided them into regions and I then cross-referenced them by congressional district. Next slide, please, John. And this is what North Carolina looks like. Now, Center for Common Ground, we will be working in North Carolina 1 and 3. That is the North Carolina Black Belt. Well, look at what we found. We found 5 state Senate seats and 5 state House seats in North Carolina 3, and they're in the Black Belt. And some of those seats, the Black registered voter population ranged from 18% to 42%. And I'm going, and this should not be that way. We are looking at a turnout problem. And so we will be doing turnout in North Carolina 3. Now, in North Carolina 1, which is also the Black Belt, things weren't quite that bad. There were 2 Senate seats and there were 4 state House seats. So when we talk about power packing, why would we talk to voters about just 1 seat when there is a congressional seat and a state Senate seat and a state house seat. That's called power packing, where you help people see in a totally nonpartisan way that there are multiple offices that they need to vote for. Now, in North Carolina 12, which is in Charlotte, where Reverend Rodney is, there is one Republican seat in that entire county. And that seat is held by a woman who ran as a Democrat when she was last elected and then switched parties. So we're putting that in as a potential flip seat. And we have one seat in the mountain region in North Carolina 11. So Reverend Rodney and folks in North Carolina saw the handwriting on the wall with the Democrat who was currently sitting in House District 106, that she was looking to pull a Tricia Cotham. And they got in front of it and defeated her in the primary. So we're going to be going after that other seat. And that just right there with those 4 packs across 4 congressional districts gave us 11 seats. Yes, there are still another 12 seats that are out there that are possible. But I just wanted you to see, how am I arriving at these things? What am I seeing? So yes, I plotted 170 offices, put in all the population statistics, added them up, and figured out these are our people. These are our seats. Next slide. All right. And we are actually way ahead of schedule. Boy, oh boy. All right, John, you can stop the slides because I believe our other guests are here. So as you can see, we have a plan. If we flip any chamber in a state house, or if we take the governor in a state house, that ends the ability of that state to redraw, rejigger their district lines. It requires all 3. So as some of you may have read in my email, this is a war council, meaning there is a plan, there is a type strategy, there are tactical targets that we will be using to literally take back our democracy. Because people, what we do in this 2026 election will determine, will there be a 2028 election? Now, this is the only semi-downer thing I am going to say all night, because I am positive we have done it before. The stakes are even higher, so we will do it again.